everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about 11 silly but very important mistakes that you might be making or probably you will make in your freelance writing career, and what is the right way to do these 11 things if you are in the process of making these mistakes. Now, obviously, I have been doing this for 3 years. I've been a freelance writer of blogger for 3 years. So, just a disclaimer that I have made all these mistakes at some or the other point in my journey. But because I do not want you to make these same mistakes, that's why here I am with the video to help you all and to save you all from not going down the same rabbit hole that I did. So, without wasting any time, let's get into the video. Let's get into these 11 mistakes one by one. So, the very first one, I am sure that probably all of us are familiar with this one, which is not beginning already, which is procrastinating to start as a freelance writer. I held myself back because of low self-confidence, loads of self-doubt, and obviously I had this one main important question within my mind, that how would my family react if I choose this as my career. So all of these things held me back for 4 long years before I started as a freelance writer. Yes, I discovered content writing back in my college. It was 2016 when I got to learn that content writing is a profession. I could make a career out of it. But lack of information, lack of knowledge, lack of confidence, lack of self-doubt, lack of a lot of things, it kept me under the bed, under the rock for a lot of time. And I did not begin until 2020. It took me a whole bloody pandemic to realize that this is what I wanted to do for myself. So if you are in the same loophole, and if you find yourself going around the same turmoil again and again, that whether you should start or not, this is your sign. Take this video as your sign that you should definitely start as a content writer if you have been planning to, because I assume that you will be waiting for a lot of things to fall in place. You would be waiting for a lot of things to be perfect. But here's the reality. It will never be perfect. You will just continue waiting, and time will pass by anyway. So instead of wasting time, instead of procrastinating whether you should do it or not, take this as a sign and start it already in whatever way you want to. By the way, I have a whole video on how to start as a content writer. I'll link it in the button here somewhere on the video. You can watch that and you will have a very clear understanding of how can you start as a content writer in 2023. Alright, so this was the first mistake, not starting already. Now, second mistake, and this one is an elevation of the first part, procrastination. So a lot of us are scrolling through our social media. So many of us are consuming content. And here's the mistake. You are only consuming the content and you are not creating any content. So as a content writer, what content can you create anyways? So like, how should you write? What should be the approach? There would be many questions, I am sure. And obviously they were there when I started as well. But again, I have a solution for you. There are 45 days of content ideas for you in the description below. Check them out. But the mistake that you should not be making is only consuming content and not creating any. So for a writer, you don't just read the books. You don't just read blogs. You don't just read newsletters. You have to write as well. You have to create them as well. And the best platform to do that is what you're going to discuss in the next mistake. So let's get into that, which is not being on LinkedIn. again, a mistake I made for a very, very long time. I got to know about LinkedIn in 2018, but again, I was like, oh, it's just another Facebook. I don't want to add another platform to my list or to my phone. But I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. And which is why I always suggest anybody who is aspiring to be a writer, a creator, or if there's anything that you would like to do good with your career, please have a LinkedIn profile. It will come back to you in so many ways and so many opportunities you could not even think of it. The past 3 years, everything that I've done for my career, for my freelance writing journey, it has been through LinkedIn, and I will never ever get enough of that platform. So if you want to start as a content writer, if you want to begin your writing journey, please start by writing on LinkedIn. Why? Because it puts you out there, it puts you in front of the people that would be your clients in the future, people that brings you numerous opportunities, and something amazing obviously comes out of it. So if you have not done that already, make sure that you set up your LinkedIn profile today after you watch this video. And that takes us to my next mistake, which is charging per word. Now, I'll tell you something. In November 2020, I got a very small project from my Instagram page. It was to write captions for a wedding photography page. So that was my very first project, and it was a local business somewhere around here in Delhi. So I did that project, yes. I charged per word for it, which is the fourth mistake. As a content writer, the mistake that you are making is you are charging per word, when instead you should be charging per project. That was the first and last time when I charged for my writing services based on words. After that, every single project that I did, most of them were international, obviously some Indian projects as well, but every single project that I did after that, I charged based on the projects. Now, how do you charge based on your projects? So, your charges, they are independent. They are not dependent on what the market is charging. They are not dependent on what other freelancers are charging. They are solely dependent on your services, your knowledge, your expertise. What are the contributions that you are making to your client's business? This is the only thing that counts when you are pricing your services. And I did not follow any guideline or any template or any calculative methods to price my services. I just went with my instincts. Even today, when I am working with a client, when I am quoting them my charges, I don't charge based on what other people are charging. I always charge based on what are my expertise, how much I have invested in my knowledge to be where I am today, and how my knowledge, how my expertise, how my everything that I've learned, how all of that brings value to my client's business, how it will improve their business. That is all that matters. So stop charging per word and start charging per project. And another one that would be in the same domain as for the pricing mistakes is that you're not charging in advance. And that there's a whole debate around whether you should or should not charge in advance. But as a beginner, it might be difficult for you because obviously, the clients, they're not that easy to get you to charge in advance. But if you can, and if your client agrees, then do charge in advance. It will save you a lot of mental turmoil after the project is completed. So that brings us to the fifth mistake, a very simple, this is a very small part of your entire business, but it makes tremendous difference. And now what is that? That is your email address. When I started as a freelance writer, the first thing I did after getting my website done was to have an email address of the same name. Why? Because having a professional email address, it comes across as a serious person. Okay. For example, I had one of my clients and he told me, I really like your email address. It sounds really professional. So you might think that email is a very small part of your entire business, but trust me, from the perspective of a client, you never know what attracts them or what sounds perfect to them from your business, from their perspective for your business. So make sure that you have a professional email address set up right before you indulge in any client conversation via email. Now, the sixth mistake. This is something that I've not done, but I see a lot of you guys making it, which is not investing in your skills. I'll tell you one thing, that when you are starting as a content writer, obviously you have very beginner basic knowledge, right? I started with basic knowledge too. But if you plan to do it all alone, it will take you a lot of time to be where you want to be as a writer. Writing is not just about paraphrasing a few sentences. It is not just about reading from one page and typing it on another. Writing is so much more. It includes marketing, it includes sales psychology, it includes understanding human behavior. There are a lot of aspects to it. So, whatever service that you have chosen to provide, invest your time in it, invest your money to learn more of it. I am not saying that you have to go out there and buy those huge courses, those big courses that demand hefty amounts from you. No. Investment can be in terms of your time as well. Sit with your laptop, Google it. Oh my God, I cannot even emphasize enough how many people, how many absurd questions I receive every day on my Instagram and LinkedIn, where people ask me such simple questions that are just one Google search away from them. So instead of sliding into creators' DM, sliding into people's DM, take your time, sit with your laptop and study whatever it is that you're trying to find, whatever it is that you are trying to find answers to. Trust me, 99% of it is already there on Google and you can find it. If not Google, find it on YouTube. There are podcasts. There's no limitation, there's no limit literally to how you can consume content today. Obviously, we are living in this digital world. We're living in the best time of history ever because we have every information just at our fingertips. So sit with your laptop, invest your time, invest your knowledge, invest your money in improving your skills. No matter what type of writing you have chosen, invest your time and money to learn more of it. Which brings me to my next mistake, which is the seventh one. You do not practice your skill. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Again, a little extension of the previous one. While you're investing in your services, it is not enough that all you do is sit and read or sit and read and sit and read or sit and watch for that matter. It is also important that you practice. It is also important that you perform that skill every single day. Whether you write 500 words or you write 1,000 words, depends on you. But make sure that you write every single day. And like I said before, choose a platform, start on LinkedIn, and start writing today. Which brings us to the eighth part, and I bet a lot of you might be already taking this mistake, but here it is, being afraid of AI tools. So, obviously, there have been a whole debate around whether AI can replace writers or not. I have been in this business for 3 years. I began when there was no AI, or it was just starting to get into the market, and today it is out there. People are using it. I use it for my business. I use it for my blog. And let me tell you, AI will only replace you if you stay a mediocre writer. If you do not leverage AI for your benefits, if you do not use AI for your business, it will replace you. The whole point of using AI is to improve your systems, your processes. It is not there to replace you. Like I said, if you're a mediocre writer, if you are a below average writer, you will be replaced by AI. That is what I can assure you. But if you are someone who is willing to tweak their processes, who is willing to incorporate AI into their systems and processes, there are people who will hire you to use these tools for them. So do not be afraid of AI. Whatever your writing service is, take the AI tool that is there for that service, ChatGPT to be the most famous one as of now. Take that tool and start experimenting with it based on your service. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Because AI doesn't work itself. At the end, you need a human writer to prompt it. And if there are no good prompts, then how can you expect AI to come with great output? So, do you understand the word process here? AI won't work unless you prompt it in a good way. Unless you come with excellent prompts to get that excellent output that people are raving about. So instead of being afraid of AI, use it to improve your businesses and use it to improve your processes. Which brings me to my next mistake, which is lack of exploration as a writer. Alright, so you've chosen to be a content writer. But what do you think content writing is? Do you think content writing is just about articles? If you do so, then you cannot be more wrong, my friend, because content writing has a whole line of services that you can provide as a writer. If you don't know any of these, the link is in the description. You can just go and watch that thing that I have for you. It's a small video and it has list of 37 writing services that you can provide as a writer. So do not get stuck to one type of thing if you are in your initial phase especially. Your first year is meant for you to explore in terms of services, in terms of your niche as a writer, in terms of the people that you want to work with. The first 1.5 years, it is for you to explore. Don't expect money to come to you like overnight. Take your time, learn through the processes, and in your first year, focus on content creation. Yes, you're learning, and also build a growth mindset in a way where you can really focus and really put your energy into learning, not just money, because it's the universal rule. If you put in the right effort, money is just a byproduct. So instead of running behind money, run behind the skill. All right, explore yourself as a writer. Get to know yourself as a writer first, and then start selling those services to the people that you would want to work with. Which brings me to the second last mistake. So let's say you get on your first sales points. Okay, now you're in the sales point, and the first few, probably you will close them, you won't close them. Depends on you, right? Depends on how you perform on the point. But here's one thing that you should never do on a phone. That is, be desperate. Why? Because when you are desperate, it ends in two ways. Either you end up working with a client who will suck your soul and take your advantage in such wrong ways that you will regret working with them, or the client will not hire you at all because they do not get that confidence from me. Now, I always say this, fake it till you make it, it works. Why? Because confidence is one thing that you learn, that you grab, that you acquire with time, and with as time passes and as you involve yourself more in the process, that is how you give yourself a confidence boost. It doesn't come overnight, so you cannot expect yourself to be out there and be all ready to do everything. That is not going to happen anyway, however. So do not be desperate on your client's calls, and don't quote rates. So don't quote such high rates that the client says no, and you end up negotiating to 100 times lower rate. For example, let's say you quoted $100 for a blog, but the client says, okay, they cannot hire you, it's too much for them and this and that. Now, because you're a beginner, you would do two things. Either you would come around $60, $70 and you both will end the conversation and start the project on a mutually beneficial tone, like I did with my first project. Again, I will share the link of the video for you to watch that entire conversation here. Or the second way it will end is, once you charge $100, you will straight away quote them, oh, okay, I'll do this for 10 days. What does that say about you? It says that you are not confident about your work and you're just desperate to work for anybody. So make sure that you do not come across as a desperate service provider on your sales calls. Okay? Which brings me to the final mistake. And mind you, a lot of us do this. Sometimes I have done this as well, which is why this is so important and which is why I kept it for the last, which is attaching your worth to your client's feedback. See, when you start working as a content writer or as service provider, if you are into any other services as well, so once you start doing it, your clients will give you the feedback. And there will be times when you will not perform well. Yes, you will make mistakes in the project. And sometimes your client will have some strong, harsh feedback from you. Do not take that to your heart. I know it's easier said than done, but I have found my way across it. And this is something that I struggled with in my initial days. So I want to save you from that mental turmoil that you can end up in. Never attach your worth, your sense of belonging to any one project or to any client's feedback. They're just doing their work, they're paying you, they want the best work, right? So it is expected out of them that they want the best work. That does not mean you are any less, or that does not mean you cannot do it. It's just a matter of time and experience. Once you learn, once you do things, the more you practice, the better you become. So it is important for you to not attach your worth to any of it. Know that you are a human being, you are in the process of learning something new, and it will take time and experience and a lot of practice to reach a point where none of it matters to you. So if you feel that this is not for me, if you feel this is not where you belong, trust me, you do. It's just that you haven't found your way around it yet, which you will find if you continue to practice, to continue to work through it. Okay? So these were the 11 mistakes that I would not want you to make as a content writer. And this was everything that I wanted to share in this video. If you like the video, then don't forget to leave a comment. And obviously subscribe to the channel as usual. And obviously one last thing, I have a few freebies like I mentioned throughout the video. You can check all of them in the description below. I will see you in the next video with a very spicy topic which is so important for all of you. Keyword research. I'm just revealing it here. So I'll see you next time with another video. Until then, keep writing, keep practicing, keep watching the videos. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.